Hey, what's going on, you guys? Alex with you here as usual. Thanks for tuning in. Today, I was able to get off of work just a few hours early, which was fantastic. So I decided, why not use this wonderful time to get out in nature and just kind of walk around a little bit, just breathe the fresh air and get a little bit of exercise. We have a really nice park in the area, which is it's very well taken care of, and there's a lot of trails like this where it's nice, peaceful, quiet. You're able to just get away from everything, listen to the sounds of the birds. It's fantastic. Another reason to get out in nature too, I've read an article about people who are constantly, especially like for chess players, we have these chemicals in the brain that prevent you from being distracted. And these pathways in the brain that work really, really hard to keep you focused. And when it comes to playing chess, those pathways, that circuitry works really, really hard to make sure that you're really stay tuned in and paying attention to the game. And what happens is if you're playing too much, then those circuits and those compounds get depleted, and then you get brain dead. Essentially, you're just so tired that you get groggy, you get irritable, and you don't want to do anything, and you get depressed. And what I found is that they did these scientific articles about how going out in nature, where the amount of stimulation is different and not so much what we're usually used to, going out in nature for even like small periods of time helps to actively replenish those molecules that help to keep those inhibitory pathways working properly. So if you feel like you're out there and you're playing chess games and you feel like, man, I can't focus, I seem like I was able to focus on before, but like I'm not able to focus, I'm not able to keep steady. It might not be caffeine that you need, it might not be stimulants, it might just be the need to get out and get some fresh air, go to the forest like this, get some nice walking in, get some cardio, get the blood pumping through your brain, let everything get cleared out. All those chemicals that are working as hard as they need to work, but sometimes you just need to get that blood in there and have everything be flushed out, and it's really helpful. So today's video is about another chess set, and I feel really, really excited about showing you guys this particular set. This is the high polymer resin chess set, also goes by the name of Wood Tek, Spruce Tek, I think. There was a Spruce Tek somewhere. They're sold on different websites. House of Staunton has it by Wood Tek. They've been sold out of that particular set for like a while. You can get it on eBay. I was able to get mine on eBay. They are the same thing. The price is about $100 or so, somewhere in that range. As far as the pieces themselves, this is going to be a 4.4 full-size tournament size chess set. So as you could see, the light pieces have this wood-like grain on them, and I feel like it's not all the way through type of grain, but it does still make the piece look very elegant, and it makes it look more like you would expect, the wood to look. Overall, these pieces are not light, and they feel really nice in hand. The bottom side of the pieces is going to be that leather material. And with the top portion being ever so slightly raised, it almost looks like the king kind of belongs more to what I would say, if you look online at the Congress series chess set from the House of Staunton, the king kind of looks very similar. So as far as the kings go, like in general, when we're comparing different chess sets and we're comparing kings, there's not a lot of differences, just because the kings usually, unless it's like a themed chess set or like really fancy, like the Cambridge Springs chess set where it was just different, when you're looking at different kings, they tend to be very similar. So we want to go ahead and focus on what makes the pieces different from other chess sets, as opposed to just focusing on the similarities. And when it comes to the king, some of the things that are different is going to be the shape and the size of the finial. That's going to be one, and that tends to change among different chess sets. The top portion of the king, like the very top, like where the finial sits, generally is either super flat or it's got a little bit of a raise with the topmost portion where the finial is placed, or it could be rounded. Okay, so some of the flat ones that are like completely flat, you see those in like the Fisher Spassky chess sets tend to have like a very flat table on top. Here I have the queens. The top parts of the queens where you usually see like the spikes on them. Here they're sort of all interconnected, and I feel like in a lot of the other plastic chess sets that I have that have the spikes sort of stick out by themselves, a lot of times the plastic will actually end up breaking off, like the little spikes will break off. But because these particular ones you could see they're interconnected, it makes it to where they're less likely to break off in the future. So this chess set's been made to be more durable and long term. The queens are fairly large with a broad base, and we could see the leather on the inside. When I looked at the pictures online, for one, if you look at the online pictures, you kind of get a feeling that they took a plastic chess set and then they took some kind of a glossy sticker, and then they just slapped that sticker all over the pieces to make it look super weirdly glossy. Now the rooks here, unlike some of the regular rooks, the rooks are actually very tall, unusually tall in fact. The top portion right here is somewhat narrow and sort of tall, going from this portion to this, and that usually tends to you can see that more on like the Fisher Spassky chess set, as opposed to some of the other sets where the top portion can be a little bit like wider and smaller. But what's unusual about these particular pieces is, like I said before, the rook is very tall. In fact, the rook is almost as tall as I would probably say, almost as tall as the bishop, which is a little bit unusual, but it still doesn't look like a bad rook all in all. It's really nicely made. Pawns are fairly normal. Very proportionately sized pawns overall. Here we see the knight, and this is what I was kind of talking to you guys about, is the shape of that knight just sort of looks weird from the side, and that's how it looks like in the picture. I feel like it has to do with the fact that you got these weird looking lines coming from like the nostril or the mouth and going up towards the eye, and also the fact that this whole nose thing is very sort of broad and kind of goes down, that makes this knight look a little bit more like a dog or some other animals. Now from the front it looks fairly normal. If you could see, you got this sort of a fierce look of the knight due to primarily the eyebrows that you have over the eyes, but from the side it just kind of looks a little bit odd. The knight here is positioned more of like a 45-degree angle downwards, so kind of in between what you would usually see with regular knights kind of looking forward, and then like the Zagreb sets that usually look down vertically. So this is kind of like an in-between. It has a fairly normal looking mane in the back. There's nothing that's sticking out, and when you run your finger against the back side like this, it almost feels like just a one single piece, like a one single unit. But when you take your nail and you get in there, you feel like there's these serrations in there. But I feel like they do it on purpose so that you're less likely to have any parts of the piece break off as you're playing the games. The ears here you could see stick up a little bit, like kind of like a dog. But yeah, overall, my wife actually said these are probably the best knights she has seen in any of my chess sets, which I don't really know if I'd fully agree with that, but I think that to each their own. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about the shape of this particular knight and how you like it or dislike it. Now, for those of you who have seen this particular set, you might be questioning yourself, like when you're looking at it, you're like, okay, what exactly is high polymer resin? Is it plastic? Is it some kind of other material? Is it stone? Like, what exactly is it? And if it's not plastic, then a lot of people have been asking, like, does it behave like plastic? Is it actually plastic? And if it's not, then how is it different from a regular plastic chess set that we oftentimes see? What is the difference, bottom line, between plastic and lab synthesized resin? Well, it's just that they're slightly different compounds. That's one. And that's about it. You know, slightly different formula, chemical formula, and slightly different way that these resin and plastic behave as far as, you know, their physical properties. Okay, so having kind of talked about that a little bit. Let's go ahead and move forward and just talk a little bit about the actual chess set. First and foremost, I wanted to talk to you guys about my expectations out of this particular set, my expectations versus reality. When I initially looked at this particular set, I've had people that were asking about this, and they said, is there a way that you can get your hands on a Wood Tek, Spruce Tek chess set and just kind of do a review on it? And when I went online, for one, it was always sold out. Before buying this set, I thought $100 is $100, so $100 can get me a fairly decent wooden chess set. But $100 nowadays, just depending on where you go, where you try to find a set, $100 may not get you a really big chess set. If you're looking for wooden chess sets, it may get you like a library size chess set, or somewhere in that area. It may get you like a 3-inch king chess set, and the wood's probably going to be boxwood and ebonized boxwood or shisham, you know. So what's going on, everybody? Yes, I got back home and I wanted to show you guys a little bit up close this particular chess set. This is the box in which it came. If you open it up, it looks like that this box and the foam has been made specifically for this set, because you could tell that even like the knights and everything is just sitting where they need to be and everything's shaped properly. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look and compare this set to some of the other sets that I have. These are going to be the kings. These here on the periphery are the wooden chess set, the 1852 Paulson series chess set from the House of Staunton. And we just kind of setting these two kings. This is the high polymer resin right next to them to kind of show them side by side. There's going to be a little bit of a difference as far as the shape overall of the top portion, but not a lot. This area is kind of going to be a little bit more rounded on the Paulson, whereas here, as I've told you guys before, it's gonna be a little bit more sharp, kind of like the Congress. Let's go ahead and take the Paulson set and weight it. 116, and then this one is 66, so a lot lighter. Let's see the measurement of this one. 101, so a lot closer in weight than the plastic set. Even though both this one here and this plastic set are solid, because this is not really plastic, it's resin, it has a higher density and probably a slightly bigger weight on the bottom, but overall it feels a lot heavier than what we were used to as far as our plastic sets. Let's go ahead and take a look at the black one here. 125 for the Paulson, and then 102. So just about the same as far as the weight of the light one and the dark one. They don't change a whole lot, which I would anticipate they wouldn't really be that much different. Here's the queens for comparison. The Paulson set actually has a shorter queen that's a little bit closer in size in height to the plastic one, whereas the high polymer resin queen is, yeah, a little bit taller, a little bit. You could see that there's a height difference. High polymer resin is going to be that much taller. Weight wise, let's take a look. 86 grams for the dark, and then let's just go ahead and take this one. 93. So yeah, so this one is actually going to be heavier than what we're used to with this one's genuine ebony wood with the weight. This one's actually going to be heavier. Let's take a look at the light one. The light one's 97. And then the light one on here is 93. So weight wise, these are about 93 or so. And then the plastic one is at 52. Here's a comparison of the bishops. The bishop in the Paulson set, as we've seen before, the cut's like a little bit different and the shape overall is different, but the Paulson set, you could tell, is smaller than our high polymer. In fact, these two are almost equal in height, but the high polymer is just going to be that much taller. As far as the weight goes, the light bishop's 72 grams, and then the high polymer is at 66. So 72 versus 66, this one's a little bit heavier. And then the dark one, which feels pretty heavy overall, 78 grams, and I'm guessing this one's going to be 60, 66, somewhere in that range, 65. So there's not a whole lot of weight difference between the pieces. This one here is at 49, so a lot lighter overall. Here we have all kinds of different knights, as we've seen these before. The Pulson knights, the high polymer resin, and the plastic. As I've shown you this before, like if we take a look at the knight here, the side of the knight, if we look at it from the side, just kind of has this sort of a really wide face, and then it has these lines that make it look like as if it's kind of smiling. Or from the front, it looks all right. Like if we look at it straight from the front like this kind of looks like a fierce knight. But then if we start turning it to the side, it almost looks like this bluntness kind of gives it a weird shape. But you know, every knight's a little bit different. Okay, as far as weight, 81 grams for the light, and then this one's actually probably a little bit lighter, 64 grams. Then the plastic one's at 60, so not a whole lot of difference there. 60, 64. I'm guessing this one's at 64, 65, yeah, about the same. And then this one's probably going to be heavier a little bit, 78 grams. Here's the rooks, guys. Just take a look at the size of these rooks. How huge they are in comparison to even the largest rooks that I have. I mean, these are humongous. And then you could see the different height of this area here, as well as like the width. You know, you could tell that some rooks have it wider and then some are narrower. Let's see what the weight is. 89 grams for the light Poulson. 68 actually, a little bit lighter. 70, okay. I'm guessing 68 again, 68. And 84. So here the Poulson wins as far as weight. And the plastic actually comes pretty close to the high polymer resin. Here we have the pawn comparisons. So this is the Poulson and the high polymer resin plastic. The high polymer resin is a little bit taller than the rest of the pawns. As you can see here, the Poulson's the shortest pawn out of all of them. Weight-wise, 32 grams for the Poulson, 38 grams for the high polymer resin. This one's actually pretty heavy. 42 grams for the plastic one. I'm guessing 38, same as the other one. And then 31 grams. So lightest here, heaviest. Go figure. As far as the underside of the pieces, with the Camarada collection, a lot of the Camarada collection, especially like the more expensive sets, they'll come with a signature Camarada leather pad on the bottom. It's a really sort of a heavy duty material that almost feels like rubber and not leather so much. It's definitely meant to be very long lasting, since you know they take pride in the fact that they have the signature on the bottom. As far as the sound that the piece makes, it's going to be a little bit louder than your regular muffled sound with like a regular felt. And then we have, in comparison, the leather like material that you see here, a little bit thinner for sure, than a lot thinner than this one, you could tell. And then the sound that it makes is approximately the same as, you're not hearing it scratch on the board or anything like that, so that's okay. But if we look at the other pieces, so these are like the queens, okay? So we have the regular felt, like the billiard cloth felt, and then we have this leather-like material right over here. And as far as the sound, it makes a sound because this a little bit more muffled with this. As far as sliding, what I was telling you guys before is obviously this has a pretty good ability to slide, and then what you're hearing is a little bit of the sound that it's making just based on the leather. It's not actually cutting the board or anything like that. It's just as likely to slide as this, okay? Just a little bit different. Okay, hopefully I'll be able to more or less give you guys an idea of what this chess set will look like on a 2.25 inch, like a standard size board. As you guys can see here, you know, let's go ahead and move some pieces around. Let's just do some regular openings. Sometimes certain materials are not allowed in your country. If you live in the United States or Canada, you might be okay, but if you live somewhere in Europe or other countries, you'd have to, you know, see if this particular set is allowed, the material of this particular set is allowed in your country. Because one of the things is, remember you guys, when I did the Cambridge Springs chess set video, at the end I mentioned that I was going to send it to a really good friend of mine in Europe. So I ended up sending it. The shipping was really expensive, and one of the things is I taped the box really well before I even showed up at the post office, and then they came up to me and I said, I wanna send this to Europe, and they said, okay, what's inside? You know, my first inkling is like, what's in it for you? You know, why are you being so inquisitive? So I said, oh, it's a chess set. They're like, it's chess pieces. I said, yeah, it's chess pieces. They asked me like, what material are they? Like, are you serious? Like, do you really want to know what material my chess set is? Why are you being so inquisitive? So I said they're wood. Why? And she said, well, it's because in certain countries they have some regulations to where you're not allowed to, like, they'll stop at immigration and say this wood or this material is just not allowed. So it took the package probably a good while, to probably 2 months it was being shipped, and then eventually I contacted my friend, thought he was going to be happy. I ended up putting the cost of the parcel at like $370 because I put a few other things in there, and then he told me, he said, I got your chess set, yeah, that because you put the value of the chess set for more than 300, they stopped it at the customs. And then they basically said to me, you have two choices. You can either pay 20% taxes to us right now, or you can send it back. And I was like, are you serious? Like that what? So he ended up forking out almost $100, which, you know, $100 is a lot in their money. So I felt so bad because basically I thought I was gonna give him a gift. It ended up to where he had to pay like a bunch of money for it. So I kind of feel bad in a way, but I still wanted to do a nice thing. So hopefully the nice gesture is what really counted for this whole thing. But either way, just do know that if you're sending something overseas or to another country, that if you put that it's worth so much, you have to find out for that particular country how expensive does an item have to be before they will tax the person receiving it for whatever amount. Because yeah, they taxed him like 20% of the actual value of the set. So if I had put like 500, it would have been like $125. So I'm glad I didn't know this. So either way, kind of, guys, be mindful of, you know, if you're sending gifts to other people in other countries, that, you know, there is that possibility that they're gonna tax the crap out of them. So it is what it is. Thank you for watching. As usual, if you guys enjoyed my content, please be sure to leave that like button. If you want to leave a comment below, that'd be great. I'll try to do my best to get back to you guys. For some reason, YouTube has been kind of a little bit squirrely recently, to where some of you guys are leaving comments, and I used to be able to get notifications as soon as anybody comments. I'm able to respond. So I try to do my best to respond fairly quickly, but nowadays I don't get those comments anymore. So it's weird. I don't know what happened. Like, I didn't change the settings or anything, but I don't get the comments. And it's not until like days later when I end up like reading that I have all these missed comments. And some people ask some great questions too, and I never get around to them. So I feel kind of bad, like 3-week-old comment, and I'm like, yay, you know, I just finally now read this. But Be sure to leave those comments below and hit that like button. If you guys haven't subscribed yet to my channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, so because I do have a lot more cool stuff to show you guys. I have another chess set that I'll be planning to do a video review next time. My birthday's coming up next week, so I'll probably try to work around that and get another chess set out. I feel like I get really excited about making these videos for you guys, so if I'm excited, if you guys are excited, then be sure stay tuned and you know, stay tuned for more videos. Okay, thanks for watching everybody, and I'll see you guys next time. Okay, bye bye.